Ferrari is fully prepared and ready for the upcoming Interlagos test. The Brazilian Grand Prix, which represents the 21st round of the 2025 Formula One World Championship, offers the Italian team an important opportunity. According to the technical and strategic analysis provided by team boss Fred Vasseur, Ferrari can optimize the performance of their SF-25 and attempt to maintain the positive momentum that the team has demonstrated over the last 2 race weekends. From a technical standpoint, there are 2 particularly critical challenges that the Ferrari engineers will have to manage carefully: the proper control and adjustment of the ride heights of the car, and the precise utilization and management of the tire compounds supplied by Pirelli. These 2 factors are historically areas where Ferrari has often struggled in previous seasons. Furthermore, it is important not to overlook the impact of rain, which remains another particularly tricky and sensitive element for the Ferrari team, given the car's historical performance characteristics in wet and changing conditions. Optimizing the weekend will depend heavily on tire management in mixed and variable conditions. The first and most immediate area on which the team should focus its attention is the tires. Tire management has historically been a challenging and critical aspect for the Maranello-based team, which has sometimes failed to exploit the full potential of Pirelli compounds in the optimal manner. This is even more complicated when the track conditions are less than ideal, such as when the asphalt is wet, damp, or in constant transition due to intermittent rain showers or drying lines. According to the latest meteorological forecasts for the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend, the weather outlook is far from ideal. Only on Sunday, the day of the main race, is there a forecast indicating that there is no significant risk of rainfall. In contrast, Friday is expected to be particularly challenging, with heavy rain likely to affect track conditions significantly, while Saturday could also see some periods of rainfall, further complicating the work of the engineers and drivers. Given that the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend will feature the sprint format, the first 2 days of action will be particularly intense and packed. These sessions include a 100-kilometer mini race on Saturday, followed by the qualifying session that determined the grid for the main event. This format introduces additional strategic complexity. To optimize the performance across the weekend in the way Fred Vasseur envisions, the management of tire wear, tire temperatures, and overall degradation will be of utmost importance. It is noteworthy that Pirelli has made changes to the tire compounds compared to the previous year, opting to return to the selection that was used during the 2023 season, the C2, C3, and C4 compounds. This adjustment is intended to mitigate the risk of excessive tire degradation over the 300-kilometer race distance, and will be particularly useful when trying to maintain consistent lap times in changing or mixed conditions. It remains evident that one of the first and most significant challenges of the weekend will be to find the maximum mechanical grip in these variable conditions. If the team or the drivers fail to activate the tires correctly under these circumstances, the result could be a significant performance gap compared to rival teams who have developed a better understanding of how to warm and manage the tires in mixed or wet conditions. Without a complete mastery of this particular technical phenomenon, all the positive preconditions and preparations made by the team during practice could be nullified, leaving the Ferrari SF-25 struggling significantly on track and unable to extract its full potential. Moving on to the car setup itself, reflecting on what occurred during the previous season at Interlagos will be essential for Ferrari. This is particularly true given that the insights gained from the previous year's performance have proven extremely valuable in helping the team understand how to optimize the car's behavior on bumpy or irregular tracks. While the current SF-25 differs in certain key aspects from the 2024 car, it still shares a substantial portion of the same fundamental architecture and design philosophy. For this reason, carefully analyzing all available technical data and avoiding the mistakes of past campaigns remains of critical importance. The balance between mechanical and aerodynamic performance continues to be the central equation that must be addressed when configuring the SF-25 for a specific circuit. Interlagos, unlike some modern smooth tracks, is far from a perfectly flat surface. Despite the resurfacing work carried out during the previous season, the track still exhibits several notable bumps, undulations, and irregularities that influence the car's handling characteristics. This scenario places additional emphasis on the importance of correct ride height management, particularly when trying to extract maximum performance from the car's floor and aerodynamic package. It is well understood by the Ferrari engineers and drivers that dealing with these conditions is particularly challenging. The SF-25 cannot simply lower itself at will to accommodate these track imperfections. meaning that compromises must be found between stability, mechanical grip, and aerodynamic efficiency. Therefore, one of the key questions going into the weekend will be whether the car's ride height will become a limiting factor, or whether the team, through intelligent use of the suspension system and adaptive setup strategies, will successfully mitigate these issues. At the United States Grand Prix earlier in the season, Ferrari demonstrated that they were able to manage similar technical challenges effectively. The real test now is whether the same success can be replicated at the high-speed yet undulating Interlagos circuit. The rear suspension group on the SF-25 has proven capable of delivering excellent acceleration when required, which is particularly important for exiting the final corner and carrying speed onto the main straight. However, the configuration required for Brazil demands a careful balance. The car must combine the ability to react quickly and change direction efficiently with a stable and predictable behavior through slower corners, particularly in the second sector of the track. Raising the car too far above the reference plane can lead to a loss of downforce generated by the floor, a critical aspect of the car's overall performance, and one of the main challenges that the team must manage during the race weekend. Another significant technical limitation that the team must address is the SF-25's lack of rotational agility, which can severely impact overall performance. This deficiency affects how quickly the car can change direction, particularly in medium-speed corners and during braking while turning. The braking zones in combination, where the driver applies strong brake pressure while simultaneously steering at a certain angle, represent a particularly sensitive situation. This is a scenario where the SF-25's chronic lack of rotation could penalize performance, directly affecting handling and compromising the driver's ability to push the car to its limits. Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton will need to be especially attentive to managing this rotational limitation, ensuring that they maintain optimal control throughout complex corner sequences. When considering all the technical factors and variables that Ferrari must account for over the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend, it is clear that detailed study and careful adjustment of the car's setup will be absolutely fundamental. This is especially important given that the team has only 1 hour of free practice to gather data and refine their approach. Based on recent performance trends, Ferrari is likely to focus on maximizing top speed, which remains a critical component for achieving strong qualifying results. This approach has proven highly effective in recent rounds, particularly in Mexico, where the Maranello team's strategy and setup delivered starting positions that aligned closely with the final race outcomes. Additionally, aerodynamic efficiency and overall car balance remain two other crucial areas that Ferrari must consider carefully. These aspects are essential for building a solid and consistent performance, especially on a circuit like Interlagos, which alternates between high-speed straights and highly technical, twisty sections that demand precise control and balance. The challenge for Ferrari is significant, but the historic Italian team has shown a clear determination to succeed. They aim to demonstrate that their recent progress and improved competitiveness are not merely the result of favorable circumstances, but are instead the outcome of methodical engineering, strategic planning, and meticulous preparation. The SF-25 single-seater will be tested to its limits in Brazil, as the team seeks to translate careful preparation and technical insight into a strong weekend performance that can maintain momentum in the championship battle for second place against Mercedes and Red Bull.